Hi. How's it going?
Extraordinary. Thanks for dropping by at such short notice. I heard you've been talking about social business with First Nation communities lately. Tell me about it.
Let me start off by saying that First Nation people can create their own innovative economic activity in their community without compromising anything that they have in place now.
What do you mean?
Okay. Let me explain. First Nation people have always practiced what's called the do good to people principle since the beginning of time. It's also irrefutable First Nation people lived selfishly, multidimensionally and sustainably for thousands of years until foreign visitors started to arrive in North America.
Uh-huh. I heard you say that while the treaties were being established in the late 1800s and early 1900s, there was something else going on in First Nation country. What was that?
I'm glad you're asking. When the treaties were accepted amongst sovereign nations, First Nation people inadvertently began supporting institutions that would suppress grassroots development and growth. Perhaps this is an understatement. Nevertheless, these institutions like INAC created hundreds of standalone flower pots throughout Canada.
Flower pots. Are you saying that these flower pots are the reserves?
That's what I'm saying. If you go out there in the woods and find a seed from the largest tree in the forest and put that same seed into a flower pot, you'll only get a replica of the tree in the forest. This is what happened to First Nation people. Their reserves are the flower pots and they are the seeds. The seeds can only grow in whatever soil they were placed. With that said, First Nation people have never been given an opportunity to grow to their potential right from the start. The start meaning when the Indian Act began to be applied. An act that First Nation people never even had a role in creating.
So are you saying that it's an illusion First Nation people have a true balance sheet measuring wealth?
All we have in First Nation country is an income statement economy. Money comes in and then goes out. Money doesn't even circulate twice in most First Nation communities.
Yeah. I know aside from these corporate entities that transfer funds to First Nation communities, there's no other capital supply to the community. It seems no one else dares to become a capital supplier because First Nation people don't own anything, even though on the balance sheet it shows assets in the millions. No matter how they put it, it's still the federal government that holds the purse, and they make sure First Nation people know that, especially during negotiations. So what happened? How did this all come about?
If it's true that the entire world has subscribed to one type of economic model, then it explains why First Nation people are treated the way they are. So what's the solution? I think it's to return to the values of selflessness, multidimensionality and sustainability, because this is where the other choice is. The concept of social business fits well with First Nation ideology and values. As First Nation people start to think about building social business environments in their communities, they need to overcome a few challenges that deals with adopted ideas they've picked up in the last 60 or so years.
I like the analogy you use. Equating the crab syndrome with Indian agent syndrome. I heard that these Indian agents' job was to keep the First Nation people down. They were put there to keep track of every person on the reserve. It's like if they kept First Nation people in a flower pot, they would not grow. Then in the mid-1950s they disappeared. What happened?
Lawsuits were starting and the federal government did that to protect itself. So First Nation people began moving into urban areas and organizations were being formed to help First Nation people adapt to their environment. In the meantime, First Nation people began doing what the Indian agents did for over 100 years, and the technical term for that is mirror neurons.
Holy Now you're really getting technical. So what is social business?
Social business is a business which defines success by positive social impact rather than monetary profit. Social business is a new concept that changes the paradigm of social transformation from donated dollars to creating self-funding solutions to the problems.
So you're saying that a social business operates out of the profit maximization world? An economic model based on alleviating social ills and encompassing human nature's desire to help others.
That's exactly what it is. Let me say that making money is not a bad thing. You want to make money. You also want to do good to people. You want to make a difference in the world. You want to solve the problems that you see around yourself. But those things are not included in the business world. So in order to justify the totality of the human being, you need to create one more kind of business besides the existing type of business of making money. The second type of business would be business to do good to people without any idea of having benefit for you. The first type of business, the profit maximization business, is all about you. The other type is the social business where everything is about helping somebody other than you.
It sounds like the old economic model of business was based on making money only, and in reality people are multidimensional in nature.
Yes. Here are the 7 principles of social business while I've got them fresh in mind. First, the business objective will be to overcome poverty or one of more problems such as education, health, environment which threaten people and society, not profit maximization. Second, it has to be financially and economically sustainable. Third, investors get back their investment amount only. No dividend is given beyond investment money. Fourth, when investment amount is paid back, company profit stays with the company for expansion and improvement. Fifth, the business must be environmentally conscious. Sixth, the workforce gets market wage with better working conditions, and finally do it with joy.
Geez, look at the time. I have to get going. What else can you tell me about social business?
Yeah, I've got to get going too. Next time we meet I will talk about why social business in native country, how to go about building social businesses and financing social businesses.
I am looking forward to hearing that. Social business is an innovative economic model for First Nation country. Let's keep talking.
Aho. I will see you later.